Behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Can you hear Peter's response? Can you imagine what he said? Because he was always quick to answer the Lord whatever popped into his mind. Very impetuous man, and he says, I'm sure he said, what? Satan is going to get at me? You're going to allow him? He came and asked you, and you said yes? I'm the man who walked on water with you. I'm the one of all the disciples who recognized publicly your godness. That you're God in flesh. When others doubted, I didn't. What about resist the devil and he'll flee from you? What do you mean you're going to let the devil have a time at me? You're going to let him sift me. You see, this is an agricultural society at that time. Everybody knew what sifting was. 2x4s, about 4 feet, 4 foot square. And a screen, just a regular screen, so that it is tight enough that grain can't go through, but all the grit and the dirt and the bugs fall through, and it leaves the grain or the kernels of the corn and the wheat in the sieve. It's called a sieve. One man on each side, the shovel in the corn and the grain, and shake it, really shake it until there's nothing left but the grain and the kernel. And the question is why, you see, that's a good thing. You're getting rid of all the dirt. Why would the devil want to sieve a man and bring out fruit? Why would the devil want to shake this man and get all the dirt out of him and all everything and have nothing left but kernels of grain and wheat, whatever it may be? Because you see, the devil's not omniscient. He's not omnipotent. He can't read minds. He is hoping that when he shakes Peter, there's nothing left in the sieve. That all his faith evaporates. That there's nothing left that God can use. He's going to shake him. He's going to stir him. He's going to put him in the sieve. And the Lord has given him permission. Just as he gave permission for Job to be tested and tried. Lord, where is my protection? You see, this sifting process is not for everybody. Overconfident Peter had no idea whatsoever what he's about to face. His answer was, Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready to die for you. I'm ready to be crucified with you. I am ready. Boy, did he not know what was coming. He was not ready. Folks, you can't be ready for sifting. There's nothing you can do in the flesh to prepare for what comes and what the kind of experience that I'm going to explain to you in just a moment. Because you see, I'm of the opinion that God allows Satan to sift overconfident Christians who think they can do it on their own, who think they're ready. They're ready to die for Jesus. Bless God, if the devil comes around me, I'll trample him and I'll chase him and he's gone. I hear that boasting arrogance all over the United States, and that, folks, that's preached from pulpits and everything else. Yes, we are victorious over the devil, but I want to tell you something. There are things that you go through that you don't understand, that the devil is behind it. It is the devil himself, and he has been given permission to sift you. You can rail against the devil all if you want, but angels don't do that. I don't rail against the devil. I don't glorify his power, but I'm not ignorant of his devices. And the fact that in the spiritual world there are things going on that you cannot comprehend. you cannot understand, and we may never understand, but we understand his eternal purposes in allowing it. Unless you get afraid and you say, I fear, then, Brother Dave, you're saying the devil can get to me at any time he chooses. Unless you fear that the devil can bring you down at any time. Let me tell you, the only saints, now listen closely, the only saints that God allows Satan to sift are those he intends to use to rebuild his fallen church. Those who come out of the shaking and the sifting time with their faith intact, I can prove to you from the Word, will be used to restore the house of David that's fallen down. And that house of David is the house Jesus is building in the last days before he comes. That's the house he's building right now. And we're a part of that house. See, to the other disciples, Jesus instructed them to go get a sword. That's spiritual warfare. Look at me. He said, I'm going away. And he said, I've been with you and been protecting you, but now you're going to have to live by faith and go get a sword. And what he's warning with there's spiritual warfare. You're going to fight like you've never fought in your life. You're going to go through things you've never gone through before. And he's telling these 10 others, you're going to go through a fight. But you see, there's a difference between spiritual warfare and sifting. Peter was the only one being sifted. Following me? You see, there's a difference. You see, there's a battle that no sword you have, there's no human sword can touch it. It's a battle beyond you. There's nothing you can do to prepare for it other than seek God with all your heart and believe and walk in faith. And there's going to come a time that you're going to go through something that you don't understand. Peter was not living in sin. Peter loved Jesus more than he'd ever loved him in his life. In just a few hours before he had taken a sword in his own hand and cut off the servant's high priest ear of the servant of the high priest, he was ready to fight to the end. 5 hours later, in this sifting, he denies he even knows him. Satan injects into the mind of this man doing the sifting. You see, he's ready to fight. He's prepared for spiritual warfare, all right. He's going to defend the Lord, and he does. And it's estimated it was just 5 or 6 hours later, Jesus is before the high priest, and Peter is warming himself by the fire. You remember what happened, don't you? The maid looks at him. The maid just looks at him and melts him, scares him to death, just staring at him. How is it that he can take a sword just hours before he cut off an ear? Thank God the Lord healed the ear. How is it that 5 hours later a woman can stare at him and he breaks down? And she says, aren't you one of them? He says, no. No, I'm not. Another person was there that evidently saw him cut the ear. And he said, you're one of them. He said, I'm not one of them. See, he is now in the sieve.